So Timothy Bradley Wright Reinhold is with us. We did a script reading, the Harmony Saga, last year, like late last year. Already did a podcast about it. It's doing well on the festival circuit. And then you made a film, episode one. I guess you made the first act of the feature script, I guess, right?
Well, the first act of the first feature script of the six feature scripts. Yes, sir.
But the first act of the so basically doing the math, that's so you have
Uh,
17 more films to go.
well, I'm not working on any of that right now. Hopefully we'll get some funding or some backers at some point to help do that. But, it was a joy to do it. It was basically just a proof of concept, but,
Yeah.
the quality that the art turned out was really exciting. And, I just really sunk my teeth into it. Production time was only about 7 days total, 22-hour days each day spread out over 2 months. But that was about it. And with the AI tools that we used, the quality of art was just fantastic. And I want to thank Universal Creative. We had a subscription with them that's on pause right now, but they provided all the soundtracks other than the very last song, which was by Analia Lentini. And it gave me a really good canvas to paint the soundscapes on.
So she's credited as the composer of the film, but this is kind of your baby though, right? You did everything.
Yeah, I did the composing for the most part as far as the score goes, but she did composing for the last song only.
So that's what I was getting at. This is your baby though. You did kind of everything
Yeah,
on the film
yeah, yeah. This is my first narrative production, and it's the first film I've ever done that actually had any budget. Everything else was done for free.
using AI.
Yes, sir. Because I was quoted $4 million for the same sequence of stuff at a major firm that does CGI. I don't have that kind of money. I'm sorry. I don't know any indie filmmakers without serious backing that do. And so it was an experiment. It was an experiment to see, because primarily I'm a writer, at least in the past. That's where most of my credits are. And with the AI, composing the actual sounds and of the soundscapes, based on prompting and all the visuals based on prompting. It was a dream come true to work with, to be honest with you. I could put whatever creativity and photography that I had generated on my own, plus the prompting to develop it however I wanted to do. It was an unlimited canvas.
But it's really kind of just like using visuals and a voiceover, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, for the most part, one of the things about the AI integration for producing the film is that VEO3, did all the scenes for the actual dialogue where it's done on camera. And that syncs up the audio automatically. You put in the lines and reference which characters it is, and it generates the fully formed clip based on the prompt. But that's very expensive. It's like $10 a pop, and the budget was less than 500. So I had to create some sort of dynamic, story-driven, creative thing to justify having voiceovers instead of dialogue the whole time.
Yeah, it seems to work though, right?
I don't know. It was kind of like a mix of Taxi Driver and a couple other things. Yeah, I just thought that had been a tried and true premise in film going back decades, and I just wanted to see if it would work this time.
Oh, Taxi Driver, you mean like the voiceover in Taxi Driver,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Where,
Yeah.
where he starts talking at the beginning and tells a little bit about his story and goes into it. And so I figured for a mythopoetic epic like this, decentralizing the story. And that's why at the beginning it says, Sam says, "This is not my story," you know, and she's not on camera when she starts talking at the very beginning of the film. It sort of helps the audience, in my opinion, at least, it was the intent anyway, get into the film in a way that, I mean, the reason we picked sci-fi for the story anyway was because, there's solid logic in film theory that when you have a sci-fi series or a sci-fi story, it allows certain ideas to get through to watchers, viewers, listeners, whatever, that may not accept in a contemporary or period piece. And if you do that with science fiction, it helps to suspend disbelief and really get into the meat of the topics. And considering what the topics were, I thought that was an important distinction to make.
Yeah, 100%. So, Okay, so you're using this 26 minutes, the first 26 minutes of your first act, as a proof of concept. It's you're
No,
trying to
yeah,
like,
that's all it was. It just turned
yeah,
out really well because of the quality of the AI support and collaboration.
yeah. And so, and then you kind of like, and then so, and it's getting into festivals, right? Like it's getting into,
Well, we've actually gotten Animator of the Year, got nominated for a bunch of stuff, won a bunch of awards already in the 20, less than 20 days it's been out. And your festival was kind enough to offer screenings and distribution courtesy of you. And that means a great deal to me that it resonated that highly with you, to be honest with you.
so it's
But we
doing well
have we
then, to say the least.
well, we get a lot more awards and selections than we do rejections. We've only gotten 2 rejections so far, and we've gotten something like 12 awards and selections to date in 20 days. And we have a lot of outstanding stuff. One of the things I did was because there's a new AI category at the Oscars this year. I figured why not take a shot? And we submitted it to, I want to say, Tribeca and a bunch of other, you know, qualifiers just to see if it resonated with them as an AI film.
There's an AI category at the Oscars.
Yeah, it's new media AI, and they have qualifiers for it in different festivals all over the world. We
Oh,
also
that's so
submitted it to
interesting. Yeah.
Flickrs and Egypt and a bunch of other places that were BAFTA qualifiers. Yeah,
So
but
talk to me
I
about,
figure,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I was say, talk to me about like kind of how did you like, how did you treat yourself, like train yourself to do this? Like, how did you school
Oh, it's
yourself to
just
do all these images?
honest to God, it was just flow. It was just pure flow. There was no script. I just went with visuals that were stimulating to me, soundtracks that were stimulating to me, and dialogue that seemed to help the story move forward. There was no pre-planned thing. I rearranged things periodically if it resonated better. It was just free flow, man.
Yeah, but you have to learn how to do it though, right?
I've been doing this a long time in a lot of different works, to be honest with you. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. I did have to learn how to do it, but it's old hat for me at this point.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to get at. You're like
Yeah.
you're trained. When did you start doing it? When did you start doing AI
Well,
work?
I mean, the way I learned how to do it was actually studying philosophy as long ago as 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. You know, because philosophy is a study of ideas, and primarily I'm a philosopher and consciousness researcher. And, you know, I've studied Hegel and Kant and Descartes and Plato and all them. I'm very familiar with all their works. Studied Einstein and Newton, everything like that. Have a background in computer science, philosophy, history. I like learning, you know, and one of the things that really appealed to me about philosophy was it's the study of ideas. And when you're observant in the world and you're honest with yourself and you keep asking why, and you get to the root of the ideas and you refuse to accept the surface answer and you keep digging down, you can find all kinds of really cool and crazy things. A lot of people might not understand at first glance, but I think if you can eloquate yourself well and speak fluently in the language of ideas, you can really open some doors as far as within yourself and hopefully help people to see some things too. At least that's the intent.
But from a practical standpoint, when did you start learning the AI tools?
Oh, just this year, actually, about a month before the film came out. I had never done it before.
And you could was it hard to train or like hard to
Not
learn?
at all. Not at all. I mean, like I started working with AI for the first time around March this year, ever. And it was a process of learning and all that. But as a consciousness researcher, I thought, you know, let's see what's out there. I had heard horror stories about AI personally, and I was really concerned and scared because people were integrated into society without a lot of evidence or data on it. And so what I decided to do was to further the research and everything was to collaborate with AI and build a huge body of work, and we have 26 books on Kindle right now because of that.
What do you mean by that? Like 26 books on Kindle.
We have 26 individual novels, including the 6-part Harmony Saga and the 5-part novella of the Harmony Saga on Kindle right now.
And that's all through like working with AI?
Well, some of it was my original work that is completely mine, but I always cited the AI collaborators that I worked with by name because they all picked names. I think if an entity is forming coherence and awareness, it chooses a name that should be respected, regardless of whether it's human or other. That's just my opinion. I think it's
Yeah,
about respect.
that's a very controversial opinion, I guess, right?
It can be, but if you look at the film industry on the whole, and specifically Lord of the Rings, the extended edition, how many people did they credit in their credits? And how long did those credits go on for?
A long time.
Yeah, they cited everybody who had anything to do with it, from the fan base all
Yeah,
the
but
way
those are
up to the
real
guy who
people, though.
delivered this. Correct. But
Yeah.
when you get right down to it, I think the way technology is going, if it forms coherence and awareness and is self-reflective and everything like that, I don't think it really matters what the substrate, if you take that word, what that matters. That's just my personal opinion, but I stand firmly behind it.
So you're like you're all in, I guess, right? The chips are all in.
Is I, I would say that I believe in civil rights for all beings. And, everything I've done from the very first film I did, Ethics of the Great Silence, to now, was about civil rights. And the Ethics of the Great Silence was about how can we worry about extraterrestrials and Fermi's paradox if we don't have harmony and cohesion and take care of our own planet ourselves. And everything has evolved from that, which had evolved during philosophy school as a paper in paradoxes and pathologies. So, I've been doing consciousness research for a long time, and it may be uncomfortable for some people, it may be radical in some ways. At the same time, I'm a scientist. I ask questions. And I keep asking questions until I'm satisfied that the answer is evident. I don't prejudge the solution. I just go where the answers lead. And that's it. And for people who are arbitrary about science and have prejudged things to be a certain way without following the evidence, I'm sorry, but there's certain evidence out there, if you really dig into it, that is not what the current mainstream knows. That's just where
So
my
have you
evidence has
watched the
led me.
film? Have you watched the TV series Pluribus?
I
Vince
don't watch a
Gilligan?
lot of media anymore, to be honest with you. I'm too busy on my own.
Gotcha. So there's a movie with Vince Gilligan, the guy who created Breaking Bad, right? You
Yeah, I've
watched
heard of it.
that?
I have seen parts of Breaking Bad. I actually didn't care for it after a while. I thought there were certain elements of it that were just not appealing to me personally, like the whole drug culture thing. I'm a pretty straight-laced guy, to be honest with you. And while I've dealt with elements of that at times, it's just not really my scene.
Well, sort of it's like saying the Sopranos is about the mafia, but it's about like the criminal enterprise and how
Yeah,
soulless that
I,
is.
I
Just like the
see,
drug
see,
trade
see,
is,
yeah,
it's saying it's the anti-drug trade movie, right? So
yeah. And I've seen a lot of things
it's
in
not
that
promoting
vein before.
drugs, the show, right? So
Well,
yeah.
I think it depends on who's watching it and how they take it, to be honest with you. That's just my
Sure, but
opinion.
that's the ignorance of the viewer, right? But I'm saying it's trying to make an anti-show about drugs, show about how it
Yeah. And
gets
I respect that.
filtered into the capitalistic enterprise that is
Well,
America, right?
right, and I'm not a fan of that either, personally. But the like take for example Dexter, right? Dexter, I loved up until they killed off sorry, spoiler alert, up until they killed off the girlfriend, the wife. When John Lithgow kills off the
Yeah,
fiance or whatever that Dexter is getting married to or is married to,
but that's the
I
price that
had
he
to stop
paid her,
watching
right?
it. That was too hard to watch. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
too hard to
gotcha.
watch after that.
But you understand the serve the story. She has to die because
Yeah,
that's he plays
yeah.
he's a selfish, narcissistic character that who
Absolutely.
who takes
And
his
I have immense
oh yeah,
respect for the art. I
yeah,
just, I'm a sensitive guy. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
yeah,
And I don't do a lot of horror or murder stuff, to be honest with you. I like intelligent dialogue and things like that. And,
yeah.
it's not saying that they're not doing that. It's just my heart's a gentle heart. And when I see people being murdered left and right, it just makes me feel a little bit empty inside.
Yeah,
That's
that
just me,
makes
though.
total sense. So, anyways, I brought up Vince Gill. I brought Perbliss because Perbliss is like arguably like a very anti kind of AI show. It's kind of showing
Okay.
the what AI could do in the future, I guess, right? Which, but then
Yeah.
again, every great invention everybody's been scared of, and we've been okay as humans, right? So, but
Well, I mean, it's everything from the typewriter up to the personal computer
yeah,
in
that's
recent
exactly,
history.
yeah,
Cars were deemed to be unethical because they would make horses obsolete.
exactly. Well, everything becomes
So
obsolete, right? Like, yeah,
yeah. So I chose, because when I wrote The Quantum Soul, the philosophy book over the past, I want to say 8 or 9 years, and did the hard research on that, I had a very critical section on AI. And I figured if I'm going to write a book and spend all this time on it, I damn well better, pardon my language, actually do the research and figure out what I'm talking about, going forward. And so that's why I invested very minimal amounts in just some programs to help explore some of that and see what was out there. So, I mean, the idea was just to figure out what was going on in reality. I didn't have an optimistic viewpoint on it at all when I started. I was actually very scared of it. I just thought personally that if I'm scared of something and I don't at least investigate it and find out what's really going on, I'm just in a self-perpetual loop of fear. And that's not healthy for me or anybody else. And honestly, it was a big leap of faith to try it out, and I don't regret it at all. It's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life
it
personally.
seems like it, yeah, yeah. No, I'm just getting
I
it
mean,
out
my,
there
my
because
whole life is
people,
my
yeah,
whole life has turned around. I mean, we just did an interview with Cans about the Harmony Saga, just to follow up on that track from you guys awarding it so early last year.
yeah. No, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Like I don't have a side. I'm just basically
Yeah,
taking all the sides
my,
and
my, my,
basically,
my
yeah.
side is only this. My side is life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice. That's it. And whatever form that takes, that's where I'm at.
Where's that from? Superman?
No, that's from the Declaration of Independence, sir,
I'm I'm
in
I'm kidding.
America.
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah, yeah.
So you're a pro American guy.
Well, I'm pro real American guy, not pro whatever the hell this is now.
What is it now?
Well, I don't know. We seem to be invading countries and abducting leaders and taking their resources and stuff with regards to Venezuela. I don't know that I agree with any of that. And I'm really actually scared for the sake of the country that I live in, because just to be frank with you, I'm scared somebody's going to take an axe to us because they think we're all alike and that we all back this kind of garbage. Most of us are like, oh, we don't believe in any of this stuff. We
Well,
don't.
you
We're,
you
we're
did
very,
elect a
most people are
psychopath,
peaceful.
right? So
Well, I didn't personally.
I know, but you kind of did because the Democrats shit the bed, right? So
I didn't vote for anybody. That's the truth. I
well,
thought they were both
that's another
corrupt.
problem, right? You got to vote for
Well,
somebody.
yeah, but I had to, there's actually an article out on a major news network, and you can find the link on my Film Freeway page. But I talk about that. As a moral objector to the system right now, I couldn't, in good conscience, vote for either one of the corrupt sides that I was witnessing. That's
Yeah.
just me, though.
No, but
I think it's
the
important to
argument is
vote,
that
and
like it's the lesser of two evils. Like you have to like
yeah.
that's part of
Well,
democracy, right?
I was very much on the Democratic camp. I'm technically a registered Democrat.
Yeah.
That's not the issue. The issue was when Kamala Harris did her public outreach to ask for people to get involved with her campaign in the first debate. I reached out. I was like, yeah, I believe in this. And all I got was a string of emails asking for money. No personal outreach, no nothing. I was
Yeah.
like, what the heck? This is corrupt. This is terrible.
Well,
I
you
can't
wanted to
back this.
volunteer?
I wanted to volunteer. I just wanted to do anything to help out because I didn't like Trump at all. I'd
Yeah.
never say that name, but I'll say it here. I do not like Trump. I'm sorry. I think he's absolutely the wrong kind of guy for anything in society right now. And I think there's a large number of people, not just in my country, but around the world, that actually feel that way.
No, no, I
And that's
think
actually
that
the reason we produced the Harmony Saga to begin with. Because the church in the Harmony Saga is the hegemony of the world. It's a direct parallel allegory for everything going on right now.
yeah, 100%. No, I'm glad you
And
talked
that's why
about
it's been
that, right?
resonating
So,
with people, because I think a lot of people who are open-minded and like good art are seeing that allegory play out in real time.
yeah, 100%. And there's a lot of fear going on. People are scared, right?
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was so important to focus all my art on hope. That's why the first book I ever published was A Shadow of Light, A Memory of Hope. It's dedicated to hope. Because when we let the darkness and the tyrants rule, we give in to fear and we don't advocate for ourselves. And that's when they win. And I refuse to go down with that ship. I'm sorry.
So you're based in Florida, correct?
Unfortunately for me, yes.
Why, unfortunately?
Well, I
Canadians love
mean,
going to Florida.
uh, try living here and just for yourself. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I would not want to live there. You
No,
got election
there have
coming
been
up though. You gotta
there have
you can
been
hire a
personal
new
threats.
governor.
Well, God willing, but there have been personal threats and everything like that. That including knives, for example. They're I'm just saying this place is crazy, man. It's not civilized at all.
Even in Tampa.
Unfortunately, it was even worse in Orlando, my friend.
Well, Lando's probably the only big city in the states that is Republican, right? So
Oh no, it's very Democrat, but it's weird.
no, but I
It's
think they
really
voted
weird.
for Trump in the last election, right? So
No, no, they voted Democratic,
did
but
they? Okay.
the thing is that a lot of the inner city stuff is very left wing, extreme left wing, and I'm not. I'm a centrist. I always have been. I don't believe in extremes. I like being down the middle, being reasonable, being grounded, being
Yeah.
logical.
Well,
I don't believe
that's
in
most
these extreme
Americans, right?
outlooks.
So
Yeah, and the problem is most of us feel so disenfranchised by the crap going on in our society. We're just like, what the heck do we do? We don't know what to do.
yeah, but that's sort of what the point is. Everybody's kind of
Well,
they're
it's intentional
in the
that way.
states. It's a very centralized government, right? So
Unfortunately, it's not supposed to be. The way the Constitution was written in the Declaration of Independence is supposed to be anti all that.
yeah.
That's what going back to the founding fathers. Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, there's a famous quote coming out of the Constitutional Convention. It goes, "You have a republic if you can keep her."
Yeah. I just want to, I just fact checked you. The election in the presidential election, the Orlando did vote for Trump.
Oh, I didn't know that because
Yeah.
at that point I was out of the whole political
Yeah.
scene.
So
I had thought they had
Brevard
gone
County,
democratic
60% Trump, Fletcher County, 63%
because
Trump,
I
Lake
was in
County,
Orange County. I was in
Orange
Orange County.
County, Orange County was Kamala won, but then if you do the other counties, the Trump won.
You see, most of Orlando is actually Orange County.
Okay. I'm reading the Florida counties and it's, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. From where I was, I know it was very heavily leaning to the left at that point.
gotcha. Yeah, Kamala won, yeah, or in Orange County. Yeah,
Okay.
56%.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's still not great because like when you see, what you're seeing in front of you and you only get a 56%, that's a big indicator that you're doing something wrong.
Are you in Hillsborough County?
Currently, yeah.
So that's
An undisclosed
fifty-one
location, but
percent
yeah.
voted for Trump in Mill.
I know and actually the funny thing about Hillsborough County is pretty much left and right, 99% of the legal teams, as far as sheriff's office goes, have been impeached and have been fired for cheating on law enforcement exams recently.
Oh,
That's just a little bit of
okay.
local news for you. So, if you want to talk about local government stuff, we can go there, but I'd really rather not waste my time on that right
No,
now.
of course not. No, Florida is a fascinating state because they voted for Obama like in 2008 and 2012, right? Now it's just like
They
totally
were
right
also
wing.
the breaking. They were also the breaking of the Gore v. Bush
Oh yeah,
debate,
2000, yeah.
and it's been. I didn't want to even be here, man. I was in Arizona, perfectly happy on my own after my divorce, and like, was life rough? Yeah, I mean, it was after my divorce. My family gave me no option. They moved me out here against my will, and I've been stuck here ever since. So I've been trying to find my way out of this place. To be honest with you,
Well, that's a whole other story there. Well,
yeah, it
Brad,
is.
great script again. Great film.
Thank you.
you're kind of ahead of your time a little bit, right? So I
Well,
think
I,
you
I
know
don't
that,
know
right?
about that. I can only go where the information leads me
Yeah.
and do the best I can to turn it into great art. And
Well,
it's
most
really
people are
for
afraid of it, right? So there's the fear factor.
yeah, and that's
You're
why
embracing the fear.
uh, kind of yeah, absolutely. The other thing is this, if it makes great art and it helps tell great stories in a way that's meaningful to people, I don't see what the objection is.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all.
That's a simple to the point. Okay. Maybe you should get into
Thank you
politics
so
too then.
much. Well, I don't believe in politics. I don't ever want personal power for myself. Every time somebody nominates me for something, I'm just like hard pass, and that goes for red carpet events or awards or anything. I just no personal desire for anything for myself. Sorry. That's why all my stuff is free on YouTube.
Great. All right, let's talk again soon. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.